during the winters of Valley Sports. Coach Kevin Love was able to create some momentum there in the third, Evan Mobley able to extend that to the fourth, but ultimately could close the gap. What do you think the biggest difference was in this one?
I mean, I just, we just didn't play well. I give credit to the Rockets. Don't take anything away from what they did. But we didn't get the job done at the level that we're capable of tonight. I thought there were too many moments where, we were trying to do things outside of ourselves instead of, like we talked about pregame, like you don't make up for the absence of another guy by trying to be somebody else. You be the best version of yourself. And I thought there were too many moments where, we were out of ourselves. The game was choppy and rhythmless with all the foul calls and those things, but we just didn't do a good enough job tonight.
When talking about, I guess, not playing to your type of game, is that, does the Rockets' pace and how they play, were they getting you out of your game, or did you just not feel like you were playing the
team? I just thought we weren't disciplined, in understanding our approach of what we needed to do. We know that this team plays a lot of isolation and drives the ball a ton. We know they draw fouls because of that. So if you give them gaps and space, they got a bunch of guys who can play one-on-one and put foul pressure on you. And I don't think we did a good enough job being in our help spots early to deter any of that, to force them to take jump shots. Instead, we were letting them get to the paint and put that foul pressure on us. So, I think there was, some slippage defensively for sure, and, not executing the game plan to the best of our ability.
I know it wasn't a loss, but Evan Mobley, what he was able to do tonight, command the game in some moments or in the fourth, did a good career high for him. What can you speak about his play?
He was trying to do whatever he could to help us win, and that's Evan. He knew tonight, we needed him to score, and I thought he did a great job of trying to put his imprint on the game. I thought he was aggressive. He showed all the things that he's capable of.
Kelsey Rose of the Athletic, JB, but early on in the game, you guys were controlling the glass really well and also getting a lot of your points were in the paint. Sort of start the game that way though, and to sort of see those things fade. Like, did you see something change that took those opportunities out of the game for you guys?
No, again, I thought we didn't make the plays that were right in front of us. You turn it over 19 times, they scored 27 points. Off those turnovers. It's difficult to overcome, especially a team that wants to play with the tempo and pace that they play with. That's just, being loose with the ball, when you turn it over that many times and not getting shots. And you can't get those shots if you're throwing the ball to the other team.
Well, we talked about turnovers in the past. Was there something different tonight in those turnovers? So we talked about like you playing small spaces, sometimes those shots. Was it something different tonight, or was that what you saw?
No, I think that's what it is. But you throw that on top of what you're missing from an offensive standpoint. Sorry, like when you have your full boat, you're able to overcome some of those things. But when you're missing guys, you can't afford to make those mistakes.
And I know obviously this team is not about just one person, but do these sort of circumstances sort of show you how much Darius does play a role in this offense and just how he facilitates, how he dictates, and just kind of helps sort of like create that movement? Yeah,
he's an all-star player. And when you miss that, especially at that position, puts a ton of strain everywhere else. So, I think it's pretty obvious how much we miss him.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com, KJB. In the first half, as your defense was struggling, how much internal debate was there within yourself of if you were going to go back to Jarrett despite 3 fouls?
Again, it's a long game. What we didn't want to do in my mind was, as long as the game was in, at 10-point range in the third and fourth quarter, I feel like there's plenty of time to come back. And, we hung in there and kept it in that area. And I think we cut it to 6 or 8, late in the second quarter. So I felt like, we were going to give ourselves an opportunity, but again, we didn't get it done.
What is it about Evan's offensive growth that is allowing you to call more plays for him, give him the ball in crunch time, things along those lines?
It's like you can trust him. You know he's gonna get the shot that he wants. He's dependable. He's not sped up. He has the ability to get to his spot and take his shot. And I think that's hard to do, but that he's going to get the shot that he wants, or make the right play if they decide to bring the double team.
Thank you. Ashley.
Ashley Bastock, Cleveland.com. JB, I know after that Knicks game, I asked you about free throws, and that was another tough game for you guys at the line. And you mentioned you just don't want it to become something that guys are overthinking. I guess, is it becoming more of a concern though, again, after a night like tonight where you guys are hovering right around 50% from the line, or is it still just about knocking those down?
No, I mean, you got to make free throws. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And again, we have guys that are capable of making free throws that aren't making them right now. So that is us, focusing. It's more work obviously needed. But when you step up to the line, you got to focus on your technique and block out all the other stuff and not think about, missing the next one or missing the last one. But that comes down to, us needing to be better just in between the years, and focusing in and knocking them down.
Yeah. How do you, when you're going through kind of maybe like a collective slump like that, I mean, how do you boost confidence at that point?
It's just work. It's rep after rep after rep, but it has to be the right rep. You can't go up to the free throw line and practice and mess around. You can't pregame go up to the free throw line and be chit-chatting through your free throw routine. You got to go in there with a disciplined approach and concentration on your technique.
Thank you.
Last one, Chris. Jimmy, we talked about this a little bit the other day, but this stretch that you're in right now, pre-All-Star break, what's the key to pushing through that and getting to it on a good note?
I mean, it's the consistency and the focus of who we are. You can't allow scenarios to change your performance, right? The league is going to put enough problems in your way that you have to overcome, but you can't allow, 2 weeks from now to be impactful on what happens today. And that's the only way that you can approach it, is every single game matters and is meaningful. And you have to be singularly focused on that game that's in front of you, and try to avoid, that trap. And we've seen it, right? We've all been around long enough to see it, and it happens. But these are the moments that those experienced teams really take advantage of, because they see, those opportunities and they know where people's minds can go. So they lock in on that. And that's something that we've got to grow to do.